The grand final of the major was the worst match s1mple has had since 2018, while he was hitting shots like this. s1mple died 30 times on Inferno, and I want to show you how Kerrigan and Faze consistently found ways to counter the best player ever. But first I want to talk about our sponsor. NordVPN is a VPN that allows you to do many things that benefit you inside and outside of the game. When it comes to CS, a VPN can allow you to deal with routing issues easily. Personally, I used to have a problem with many servers in which I would have 150 plus ping to servers I typically should get 50 to 60. Using a VPN, I was able to easily resolve this problem. A VPN can also allow you to connect to the far superior European matchmaking servers so you can avoid the dreaded NAMM. Outside of the game, NordVPN is great to use to unlock different regions of Netflix, or just in general to protect your data in public or private with their new threat protection. NordVPN has over 5,000 servers in 60 different countries, and you can find a server near you for better speed or in a faraway location for more content. They have 24/7 customer support, and NordVPN has a 30-day free trial, which means it's completely risk-free to try, so head on over to nordvpn.com/vu. Now, what sets this apart from most bad games is that s1mple is actually hitting his shots really well. It's that Faze is a step ahead almost every time. And on the first gun round, Faze are going to show why avoiding s1mple isn't a play that works for most teams, because they're going to go for a bit of a mid fake and then make their way back into a B execute later in the round, which makes perfect sense to try and keep s1mple towards Arch. But as they actually make their way into the bomb site, when you look at that, s1mple is already there. And not only is he going to pick up 2 kills on the site hold, he's going to make his way into a 1v2 that he almost wins as well, only being shut down at the very end by Rops. And with that in mind, Faze are going to begin Operation If You Can't Avoid Him, join him in Arch, and kill him. And Faze have a bunch of plays with this exact idea in mind, starting with this one here, where they threw a smoke towards middle and then almost no other utility, very similar to what they did in the previous round, basically saying to s1mple, we want you to think we're taking mid, but we're actually not. And when s1mple goes for the information to get mid back, they instantly pop out on him, blind him with the perfect flash, and get close enough to actually trade. And while s1mple does go 1-for-1, that puts Boomich in an awkward spot. He considers going back, and then he'll eventually make his way forward, but Brokey is a step ahead, gets himself the kill, and then through the smoke, once he takes down Perfecto, this round is essentially over. But the play really started with trying to counter s1mple, and if we take a look at the flash that rained through, it almost looks like it missed, but it actually perfectly blinded s1mple, who wasn't even peeking. And while that flash might not be exactly for that angle, I went back over 15 Inferno games, and they've never thrown it before, but they actually throw it twice in this game. Now, one of the things NaVi specifically do, and the reasoning behind the way Faze counter them in a lot of these rounds, is the way they use their utility. Now, in this round, their short player is going to be tripled up on B, but when they're not tripling B, NaVi drop utility in spawn for their B players to have a third re-smoke on banana. And that makes B a little bit easier to hold, but it also means that Faze can attack middle in a way they didn't against their previous Inferno opponents, where they were using a ton of utility. Versus NaVi, Brokey can just toss a flash and post up on Arch side and wait for someone to make a mistake. And this is going to be very key to the way Faze deal with NaVi once s1mple has an op, but in these situations, it's really just a free kill if s1mple is to go for information. If we just pause for a second, you can see Boomich has a re-smoke for B, but the rest of NaVi have almost no utility, and they have no map control either. So if they just wait out this round, Faze almost certainly win. Eventually, s1mple is going to go for information there, and Brokey gets the easy kill. And then really from there, it's a clinic from Brokey as he picks up the kill on Bit, and then moves forward and finds Electronic in pit as well. And that's just a perfectly played round. So NaVi will eventually get an op into the hands of s1mple, and they're going to catch Faze off guard by hard contesting middle. Of course, they had to do it eventually, and in this case, they're going to have Bit, Electronic, and s1mple there to easily mop up this mid play and then close out the 5v3. And off the back of that, Faze are going to go back to the tried and tested fake B to try and get the Arch rotator to move over that direction, and then go for an apartments pop right afterwards. But NaVi don't bite at all, and as it turns out, s1mple is again in the right place at the exact right moment and gets 3 kills. So really what Faze actually know is that s1mple as an op, NaVi are dropping an extra smoke and molly to their B players so that they can play super passive, and NaVi are not over rotating at all. So what does that mean? It's back to Operation Simply Kill the s1mple, or at least counter him in middle. And I mentioned Brokey being a key to countering s1mple once he got the AWP, but before Brokey even gets a chance in this round, you see this play from Robs.
Caught him out. Just caught him out, just walks on up. Robs, how's he find a gap like that? They've been watching mid every other time, and now it's Boobage turn. He needs a kill.
And he will find it!
What do you think? Lucky or calculated? NaVi really was prepared for that pretty much every other round, but if we watch this from s1mple's POV, you're going to see exactly how this play went down, because s1mple throws this smoke, and because this smoke is deep in middle, when he falls off of this angle, he's going to have to respect that someone could actually peek from brackets, so he can't be posted on boiler. He's got to watch this angle here, and his team earlier in the round went for a double nade window, and Rops caught a glimpse of one of those players throwing it. So Rops knows he has a timing, and Rops is well aware that s1mple loves this angle, so he simply walks out and gets himself the kill. And after the kill by Boomich on the other side of the map, again, you're going to see how hard it is for s1mple to get anything done here. He's smoked off of Arch, he's then smoked off on Moto, and he gets himself into the site, but Electronic makes contact with Rain, which lets Faze know that pit is clear. So they can full focus on s1mple here, and they're just swarming the bomb site. It's not an easy shot there that he misses, and then Kerrigan instantly trades. Oh yeah, also NaVi ran the same exact strat against Heroic in the quarterfinals. Now Brokey's actually the top fragger in the server right now, but his real role is to nullify s1mple's aggression, and we notice here Bit's going to drop all of his utility again, which is going to be relevant a little bit later, but s1mple goes for this play in mid, and if he got any more aggressive, Brokey would be there. But Kerrigan is going to flash him off of the angle, and then s1mple is going to have to fall back to the same angle he was in last round, except this time he's a little bit more prepared for that play from Rops. In fact, he's going to smoke off that angle, and with that smoke goes most of the utility that NaVi have. Brokey, again, the most boring job ever. He's just holding the re-aggression from s1mple. This is what you need to do against NaVi, and s1mple, because they have no utility, he's going to be playing this angle here, trying to crossfire in middle and kill FaZe Clan when they go for those plays. Don't let Brokey flash him off the angle and then post up. But instead of going for that exact play this time, FaZe are one step ahead, and they molly s1mple out of cubby with a molly that gets both sides of middle, and s1mple, knowing he can't give up mid, tries to re-peek and dies. Hey, but don't forget about Brokey. If s1mple hadn't died to the molly, he would have died to Brokey. But really, Brokey does have a fantastic game, even though a large portion of it is holding angles and trying to stay awake. By the way, did you know this light in library, you can see when someone crosses it and kill them, or get spammed back and die? Now, I don't want to give you guys the wrong idea, because if you look at the score closely, you can see that NaVi actually won the last round that I showed you. But NaVi also do realize what FaZe is doing, and later on in the half, they tend to leave utility in the hands of their mid players. So when FaZe go for this play where they're really trying to chase down s1mple and attack long and really wrap on the A site, NaVi have enough utility to actually counter that and double molly middle. And that means FaZe, having used almost all of their utility there, are going to have to rethink the entire game plan, and they actually come up with an apartments pop, which actually happens to be hard countered by the positions NaVi are in. But it's about the timing, because NaVi go for a retake in middle, something they couldn't do when they had less utility, and as soon as that mid smoke lands, FaZe pop out on top of them and catch them as they're trying to go aggressive, which makes s1mple force the fight here and go 1-for-1. Of course, I've really only been showing you one round at a time, but if I show you the entire CT side versus FaZe and compare it to NIP or Heroic, you're going to notice FaZe forced s1mple into a few specific positions and then countered him from there. And of course, the direct countering of s1mple was more for when he's on the CT side, but I want to show you this play here that's probably not meant specifically to deal with s1mple, but rather to deal with anyone that's holding brackets from middle, which is often s1mple, as Robs is going to smoke off brackets there, and then he's going to toss this nade that s1mple is going to jump away from, and because he backs up, Twist has space to get this play here and actually pick up 2 kills. And realistically, if s1mple was a little bit closer, Twist probably only goes 1-for-1. Instead, because he jumped away from the nade, Twist gets 2, Brokey picks up the kill on s1mple, and then they end up in a 2v1 here off of this really nice read from Brokey as well. Unfortunately for FaZe, Bit actually wins the 1v2 off of a very nice shot, but it was still a fantastic play, much like the 1v1. Funnily enough, the round people are most critical of s1mple for is actually his failed 1v1. He gives his team a chance at this round, by the way, from the 2v4 by getting those 2 kills and then trading on twists here as well on key stairs, but s1mple tries to make a play here. Instead of going quickly towards B, he slows down, stops up, and he says if ropz is pushing down middle, he's going to be down middle by about this time, and he's not. Which is true. If ropz had been pushing down middle, he would have been down middle by that period. ropz specifically stopped in boiler thinking about this potential play from s1mple, and even though we kill s1mple, catching him with this knife out, s1mple still hits ropz with 1 shot. That actually could have been a kill. But especially in a major final, I think that play from s1mple is actually super smart because ropz is most likely to be running down middle thinking, how did we throw this round, not thinking a step ahead. I wouldn't recommend you make that play in matchmaking, but I would disagree that it's a massive misplay. It's just a 1v1 and he made a gamble. Anyways, thanks for watching and check out this video YouTube thinks you'll like.